From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Well, hello everyone. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this edition of For the People Weekend. We got something that is in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's heating up. It's cooking is what it what it's doing. It's a tropical system that is brewing out there. It's already got a name. They're calling it Alberto. It's a low pressure system. It's cooking in the Caribbean, and it's now subtropical. According to the National Weather Service, kind of looking at the latest reports that are coming in. And it was predicted. They've been watching this stuff come in, and here it is. And it's going to result in a lot of rainy days here coming into most of Florida. Heavy rainfall across much of Florida, the northern Gulf Coast, and into early next week. Flooding, isolated tornadoes, very possible in some areas of Florida. Tampa Bay expected to get about 3 to 6 inches of rain. And an Air Force Reserve reconnaissance aircraft scheduled to investigate the system this afternoon. They say the system could also bring tropical storm force winds and storm surge to portions of the northern Gulf Coast by late this weekend, early next week. In addition, the threat of rip currents, listen up, will steadily increase along the Gulf Coast from Florida westward to Louisiana over the Memorial Day weekend. So we're definitely going to be watching that. I live in Tampa, Florida. That's where we do our broadcast from. And South Florida, they're going to get a bunch of rain there in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. Hunkered down South Tampa. Then we got a water problem. It's just always been a problem over here. They're trying to work on it, but we get flooding from a thunderstorm in the afternoon. So any additional rainfall on top of what we've already gotten just wreaks havoc in this area for sure. So, yeah, send a boat for us if we're not back on the air. But we should be fine. But, yeah, it's not a very exciting Memorial Day weekend. Usually, you head out to the beach is what you do. And the beach, I guess, is coming to us. And that's just the only way to look at it. Some of you speed. Some of you know who you are. I admittedly, when I'm on the highway and I'm just running late, we take our chances. We hope we don't get caught. We look in our rearview mirror. We're looking at the side of the road. And some of you are very smart. What you do is you look at the behavior of other vehicles to see how they're acting. Because sometimes you can tell if there's a bear around. Well, that's what I call it. Yeah, that's what the truck drivers call them, bears. But you got a police officer that's monitoring you. Now, there's a saying amongst police officers and the Department of Transportation, and they will say, for accidents, as far as accidents are called and concerned, speed kills. And there's no doubt that speed kills. Something very horrific happened this Wednesday on a beautiful sidewalk that is coined the largest sidewalk in the world, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. It's called Bayshore Boulevard, and it goes over 8 miles continuous sidewalk, okay? And it goes from Ballast Point all the way to Davis Island. And I ride my bike on there to Davis Island very frequently, and I can tell you on Bayshore Boulevard, it's just one of those roads where people just want to go. There's that certain road that you feel like just clomping down on the accelerator, baby, and And there you go. Well, and people have been doing it. They've been doing it for years. It's been a problem. There's beautiful homes, $1 million mansions in the States, etc., on Bayshore, overlooking Hillsborough Bay. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. But you got pedestrians up the yin-yang, joggers, and moms out with their babies, cyclists. I mean, you name it, because it's gorgeous. That's what people get out on a nice day, and they enjoy themselves, but it's always busy. Well, sad to say, a mom of 24 years and her beautiful 2-year-old daughter were out for such a walk. I'm talking about Jessica Rissinger of Jeromesville, Ohio. She was just simply pushing her daughter, Lilia, in a stroller, and you see that take place on most days along Bayshore Boulevard. But this time, it was near the Knights Avenue street address. And it was this Wednesday, May 23rd, and it happened at 11:43 a.m. when a Ford Mustang was just racing down Bayshore Boulevard at breakneck speed, 70 to 80 miles per hour. And keep in mind, high speed is 35 to 40. And, the unthinkable happened. They were crossing the street where they should have crossed the street, so it wasn't an illegal street crossing, but she was crossing with her daughter, and she got hit, and Rissinger was pronounced dead at Tampa General Hospital. And the toddler has been in serious condition, but died yesterday of her injuries. Police say that Heron, the driver of this Mustang, was reportedly drag racing and another car, a Nissan, driven by a 17-year-old boy. According to Tampa Police spokesperson Steve Haggerty, a witness saw the cars driving side by side and switch places and switch lanes before Heron struck Rissinger. They were switching lanes, and Heron and the 17-year-old were arrested on charges, finally, of street racing, vehicular homicide, and reckless driving resulted in serious bodily injury. And then a passenger in the Mustang, a 20-year-old, Tristan Heron, has been charged with 1 count of racing. And their lives, too, forever changed. Speed kills, folks. Speed kills. Now, yes, they were drag racing, but some people drag race on highways. You know who you are. And you may have a son or a daughter. You might have somebody that just has a very unusually heavy foot. And for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, where people like to weave in and out, in and out, in and out of lanes. I hope that's not you. But you got to think about other people that might be crossing a road. If you live in a city, even if you don't live in a big city, people cross roads. If you're out in the country, people cross a road. If you're speeding, you don't give anybody an opportunity to get across the street. I mean, you're going 80, 100 plus miles an hour, forget about it. It's all over. Now, I know these boys never intended to hit anybody, but that's not the place to do it along Bayshore Boulevard. I believe the speed limit was 45. They're lowering it to 35. Now, whether it stops people from speeding, I don't know. Somebody got killed. A mother, 24-year-old, 2-year-old little daughter. The family's heartbroken. The scene of the dad running out from the house, screaming. Police had to hold him back. Hysterical, heartbroken. They had hope up until yesterday that with the injuries of the daughter might at least pull through, but no. Died in ICU yesterday. It's very sad, but you got to take that in and just check your own behavior. I've checked mine, and I don't drag race down Bayshore Boulevard or down neighborhood streets, but I can sometimes be in a little hurry, and sometimes it's just not a good idea. especially if you kill somebody and have that on your conscience. And these boys will. These are not, folks, cold-blooded murderers. They were doing something stupid. The kids, the teenagers, came from pretty affluent homes or good homes, from what I understand. They weren't bad boys. They were definitely doing things they shouldn't have done. They knew better. But this will forever, ever alter their lives. And trust me, if you hit a human being, thunk. And there was a lot of damage to the Mustang. And the baby went a-flying. They say if the baby wasn't in that stroller, she'd been instantly killed like Mama. Oh, she was dead on arrival. It's hard to drive down Bayshore Boulevard because my daughter today is her last day of school. She goes to high school. Yeah. So it's we drove down Bayshore and just sad, both of us. Something so beautiful could turn so tragic. And just to think, folks, we're not promised another day. We don't know. And these folks were on vacation from Ohio, visiting family here. Hi, honey. That's so gorgeous down here. Me and the baby are going to go take a walk, and we'll be right back. Well, she never came back. That's some serious happenings, folks. That's some serious reality there. I pray for the family. You please pray for the family. That's grief beyond belief. It really is. I mean, that will turn a Memorial Day weekend, if the rain wasn't enough here in Florida, to really set you off in some major depression. Folks, I'm a Christian. Yes, I have hope in my heart, but I'm telling you, something like that happens. You just don't feel too joyful in your heart. You want to be hopeful for the future. Someday I'm going to see you in the great by and by, but that's just a little too sudden. But life is uncertain. So anyways, the takeaway this hour from this conversation out of the headlines is please watch your speed and have a conversation with people that you love, that you know are behind the wheel, whether it's young or old, because both do it. I've seen senior citizens speeding down Bayshore Boulevard, 60, 70 miles an hour. Seriously, I have. So people speed. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. It's not just a young person. Even though young people were drag racing down it, people from all ages do it. And I see people from MacDill Air Force Base in the mornings because I'm out there cycling at 5 a.m., whizzing by when I'm crossing the street at Euclid in Bayshore, doing 70 miles an hour. You know what 50 looks like. You know what 35 looks like. But when 70 goes, that's pretty darn fast. When you see the headlights and then the brake lights are in the distance that quick, they're moving. Slow down. Somebody said put speed traps. I say put some police officers on motorcycles. Find a way to slow them down, because if they don't, unfortunately, there's going to be other fatalities. And even yesterday, I saw people speeding on Bayshore, even after the incident. It's unbelievable. Chuck wrote that book, Will We Ever Learn? It's human nature. People just, my brother has a heart attack, a major one, 2 stents in his heart. He smokes cigarettes over a pack a day. Some days, back-to-back chain smoking like nothing ever happened. Some people just don't. I don't get it. Personally, I don't get it, but, that's, we're not perfect. I guess that's part of our frailty and part of the human journey or whatever. Unfortunately, another school shooting, an active shooter situation, blasted off here on my Fox News alert probably about a little over an hour ago at Noblesville West Middle School in Indiana. And they have the shooter in custody at this moment. First, it came out saying that they were on the scene of an active shooter. West Middle School suspect in custody, and that was the next headline. We'll have more information. Unfortunately, there's 2 victims. Yeah,